Now here is a few natural tinders. We have, well, natural tinders wise, we have birch bracket, which is a razor strop fungus, cramp balls or King Alfred cakes, birch bark, millennia, which is basically a long grass, normally found, well, it can be found anywhere really, and reed mace. The other tinders we have, which are cotton wool and jute twine, which is a natural fibre but it's processed. Okay, and I'll show you some of these in action. That should be enough just to get an ember from. Doesn't need to be too much for this purpose. I'm not starting a fire. So. And don't know if you saw that, I hope so, but we had flame. So that's that one. And now birch bark, pretty much the same idea. Have to rough up the surface a little bit and then it will take the spark. So here we go. Should be able to do it with a small piece for these purposes. Bit windy today, but there you go. As you can see, that's one of the better tinders to use, as the oils in the bark are quite flammable. You can see the oils burning with the black smoke that's coming off the flame. and also you can see it's quite breezy today. So that's 2 down. Now onto the cramp ball. Pretty straightforward this one, you don't need to prepare it at all, you just strike into it. And some of these rings here, just hopefully it won't flame, but it will give you an ember, a glowing red ember, which you then place into either a nest of dried grass or millennia or something like that, or anything flammable really. I mean, you could use it to get your birch bark going if you've got some thin strips of birch bark and you can't strike a spark into it. But yeah, I mean, it's more of a coal extender than an actual tinder, I suppose. But let's give that one a go. And there you go. Not sure if you can see that. Hopefully you can. Well, and that's the cramp ball. That one's gone out now. That's exactly the same, that's what it's like, but that's a larger version of it, so you can see the rings a bit easier. They're found on dead or dying ash predominantly. And obviously birch bark's on a birch tree, and the birch bracket is also normally found on a dead or dying birch. Right. Next one is the reed mace, which is cattail basically, but a lot of people call it a bulrush. So. And this is off the seed head, or the mace at the top of it. And this one's basically like a natural version of cotton wool. Normally pretty straightforward and goes up fairly well. Again, that can be used with your birch bark to give it that initial flame to get it going, or with your dried grass or millennia. Right, next on to the millennia. Now this one, a lot of people use an extra tinder with it, and make a nest from the dried grass or millennia and pop the tinder into it, say a piece of birch bark that's prepared so that it'll flame and then catch the rest of it. But when it's really dry, it'll actually take a spark anyway. It'll just need to rough up the fibres of the material. So I won't use all of this. As you can probably tell, it's fairly windy today. Not going to play games today. Ah, there we go. Also another good one. So that's the millennia. Next one, jute cord. I mean, not exactly a natural tinder, but it's made out of natural materials. That's a wax coated one, and these are just the normal jute cord. And the wax is basically just to keep it waterproof, so if it gets wet in your pack, then it'll still work. I mean, and the wax will burn as well. And what you have to do is tease all of the strands apart, and then tease each of those strands into the smaller segments. So you get the really fine strands from it. As you can see, a relatively small length of jute goes a long way when it comes to strands. Now that little pile there is just from one of the 4 strands out of the jute cord, so you'd have a pile 4 times that size, but this should be enough just to demonstrate its abilities. Again, I'll try and stop that blowing away. There we go. and obviously the more of it you've got, the longer it'll burn for. And obviously the old favourite is cotton wool soaked Vaseline, which is, well, cotton obviously is a natural material, but it's heavily processed, and petroleum jelly is also a product from a natural material, but it's quite heavily man-made, generally speaking. So it's not something you come across in the wilds. And there you go. And that's about it, really. I can show you the wax coated jute cord as well. Just let this burn out. And here we go. Just break up the fibres on the end where the wax is. So it's basically like the wick you get in a candle when it's covered in wax. That should be enough to get a spark off of that, or onto it rather. There we go. And wax is obviously, being a flammable material, will actually extend the flame on it. And as you can see, it's not the fastest burning tinder, so you will have a little bit of time to get some heat into your kindling, or whatever it is you're using. And there you go. That's the tinders, or some of the more effective tinders. Other tinders include Old Man's Beard, which is a hair lichen, but I haven't really had any luck with that one. It's very resistant to taking a spark, but I will probably bring you some more in the future and show you those as and when they come up. Okay, thanks for watching.